there's been talks about. I mean, right now we're there's like a we got another student loan. What do you call this? Moratorium being implemented, and this has been the sixth time that it has been implemented since two since 2+ years of this here pandemic. And of course, the progressive left are doing all they can to rally on trying to cancel student loan debt. Now, thing is that they're trying to cancel this. They're more, and then when they're trying to cancel it, they're trying to benefit. All they're trying to do is to create a Marxist attempt to either one make college free, especially since now when we got these illegal aliens, coming at the border, and our bumbling president, our bumbling commander in chief is, on the verge of trying to grant those fools amnesty and let those guys suck our system dry and give them guys free education. But that's another rant. But the other reason is that they're trying to continue they're trying to push this whole fresh start nonsense. So people who do have student loans can be wiped out. Now, this only applies to the federal. It doesn't apply to private student loans. I'm sorry to say it. And then I also want to talk about this too. I'm also going to say this right here. Not only, but the main thing is that it's only going to apply to those who are in delinquency or in default. Now, let me go on the record and say this. I understand that there are those who had their hours severely cut, or or either furloughed or let go because of the shutdowns due to the pandemic two plus years ago. And I understand those who've been financially hurt from the pandemic as well. Even I myself was financially hit by the pandemic. I was for I I've worked at one job that had me furloughed, and things like that. But at the same time, I was able to get all of my credit situated and things like that. I was able to pay down some bills and things like that. Not to mention, I had to quarantine myself at one point because, yeah, I caught the China virus um, at the, like right in the very beginning when the pandemic hit, and there was one night I was constantly tossing and turning and couldn't sleep worth a hoot. But let me get back to what I was saying. But there's been a lot of people. I could guarantee you, there's like a lot of people who were refusing to pay student loan debt, because keep this in mind, this was going on long before the pandemic was came to play. This was going on even during the days of Barack Hussein, not gonna lie. And at that time, I gotta be honest, you know, I was like semi liberal, you know, moderate, and almost, I was like semi liberal and kind of a moderate at that time. Um, but, I literally changed my thoughts at the time too. And it's like I was working a mediocre job where I had trouble paying student loans, mainly and things of that nature. But anyway, I I never got. But anyway, I never defaulted or or been or none of my student loans have been in delinquency. But the big question is, why do they want to apply it to those who are delinquent on their student loans? I mean, delinquent or in default. And most of the time, that's because this is coming from my assumption. I mean, most of the times, I would think that those who are in delinquency or in default, they're probably the ones that refused to pay back the student loans. I don't know about you, but here's the thing. You know, I do believe in managing debt. All right. I do believe in being responsible for paying things back. Um, paying things back. If people can pay a mortgage, if people can pay a car note, um, heck, if people can pay credit card debt, stuff like that. I mean, then they should be able to pay student loans. Um, so here's the thing. I mean, it's best to not have debt than it is to be indebted into something. I understand that, you know, back then scholarships were hard to obtain. Things like scholarships were hard to obtain. I understand that, the cost of college has been going up and up and up. But even then, nowadays, what I think about how, you know, the the Biden administration want to talk about, our and the Dems are probably talking about canceling student debt. It's really hurting people who are paying taxes, who bust their tails and go to work and contribute to society every single day, as opposed to those who don't want to go to work and sit around and collect a freaking check. So I'm just willing to say this. If student loan debt should be forgiven because there are those who because of those who refuse to pay down to pay their student loans to begin with, how about forgive all other kinds of debt? I'm just saying, because it's better, because when you forget, because here's the killer. Here's the killer right here. When government gets involved in literally anything, you're literally talking about corrupting and destroying people's lives. Let me repeat that. When government gets involved in anything, there's going to be corruption and destroying people's livelihood. I'm just saying. But with China Biden talking about, getting pressure from the Dems and some of these rhinos about getting rid of student loan debt, it's really not going to apply. It's really not going to apply to those who've been making faith efforts, paying down student loan debt to begin with. And again, it's only applying to the federal loans. And even then is this. And like I even said earlier in the video, it's literally a Marxist attempt. It's literally a Marxist attempt to get people to have a quote unquote fresh start, and next thing you know, borrow again, so they won't have to pay those student loans again. Or it's all about making college education completely free. That's literally it. And then I understand those who've been defrauded of their college education as well. But that's another rant. But keep this video right here as an opinion video. And I will also say this. If they continue with the student loan moratoriums, take this with a grain of salt. I believe that there's going to be a major hidden catch behind it. What are your thoughts? What are your comments on this? I'm Chuck Johnson, a.k.a. Kid Thunder. I'm out.